Join me as I dive into the wild world of Caitlin Clark haters and challenge myself to find some common ground. Can we stop the madness together? Caitlin Clark, the name that's been on everyone's lips lately. The Iowa Hawkeye star has been making waves in the women's college basketball scene, and for good reason. Her incredible skills on the court have earned her a reputation as one of the most promising young players in the sport. But with great success comes great scrutiny, and Caitlin's been facing a lot of negativity online. It's really unfortunate, because at the end of the day, she's still just a college student trying to do her thing. Yet, somehow, she's become the target of so much hate and criticism. And I'm not just talking about the usual trash talk you'd expect from rival fans, I'm talking about full-blown harassment and disrespect. The worst part is, it's not even just coming from trolls on the internet. There are actual sports commentators and fans who are going out of their way to criticize Caitlin's every move. It's like they're waiting for her to slip up so they can pounce on her. And let me tell you, it's getting old. We're going to dive deeper into this situation and explore what's really going on here. Is it just good old-fashioned jealousy, or is there something more sinister at play? Stay tuned, because this is about to get real. Caitlin Clark's rise to fame hasn't been without its controversy, that's for sure. From her high-scoring games to her outspoken personality, she's definitely got a lot of people talking. But what's really triggering some of these critics? Is it the fact that she's not afraid to speak her mind, or is it something more? Take, for example, her recent comments about the state of women's basketball. She wasn't afraid to call out the lack of support and resources for female athletes, and that took a lot of courage. But instead of praising her for her honesty, some people took it as an opportunity to tear her down. They said she was being too outspoken, too dramatic, too everything. And don't even get me started on the way she's being criticized for her game. People are saying she's not playing team basketball, that she's too focused on scoring. Meanwhile, if she were a guy, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. The double standard is real, folks. There was even an incident where a commentator made a really inappropriate comment about her body. Like, come on, what kind of professionalism is that? It's no wonder she's been speaking out about the need for more respect and accountability in sports. But the negativity doesn't stop there. Social media has become a battleground for Caitlin and her fans. Every time she posts something, there are hundreds of comments from people telling her she's not good enough, that she's overrated, that she's just plain terrible. It's like they're competing in some twisted game of who can be the most hateful. And you know what the worst part is? It's not even just the trolls and haters. It's the so-called fans who claim to support women's basketball but are secretly tearing Caitlin down behind closed doors. The hypocrisy is staggering. Social media has become a toxic wasteland for athletes like Caitlin Clark. Every move they make is scrutinized, every comment they post is analyzed, and every mistake they make is blown out of proportion. It's no wonder so many of them are speaking out about the need for change. But here's the thing, social media has also given us a platform to amplify the hate. It's like we're all just piling on, trying to see who can be the most outrageous, the most vitriolic, the most hateful. And it's got to stop. Because at the end of the day, we're not just talking about Caitlin Clark, we're talking about all the women who've come before her, who've faced the same kind of discrimination and harassment. We're talking about the ones who've been pushed out of sports because they couldn't take the heat. We're talking about the ones who've been driven to the brink of depression and anxiety because of the constant criticism. So let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Let's talk about the kind of world we want to create for our athletes. Do we want to continue tearing them down, or do we want to build them up? Do we want to perpetuate a culture of hate and negativity, or do we want to create a culture of support and encouragement? I want to take you back to a moment in Caitlin's career that really stood out to me. It was a game-winning shot she made against a tough opponent, and the way she celebrated, the joy, the excitement, the pure elation, it was infectious. It was like we were all right there with her, celebrating her success. And you know what the best part was? The commentary was all about how incredible she was, how talented, how clutch. There was no negativity, no hate, no criticism. Just pure, unadulterated joy. That's what I want to see more of. That's the kind of culture I want to create around athletes like Caitlin Clark. So let's summarize what we've talked about today. We've talked about the hate and criticism surrounding Caitlin Clark, and how it's not just coming from trolls online. We've talked about the impact of social media on public perception, and how it amplifies hate and negativity. And we've talked about the kind of world we want to create for our athletes. So let's make a conscious effort to support athletes like Caitlin Clark instead of tearing them down. Let's focus on building them up, on celebrating their successes, and on creating a culture of encouragement and support. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video where we'll be discussing the challenges faced by female athletes in more depth.